I'm Tashtawa. Welcome to my presentation on highway engineering. The theme of this presentation is highway materials and construction. Throughout this presentation, I will be talking about types of roads, specification of highway materials, type of pavement failure, basic skills for Bhutanese engineers for supervision of road construction in Bhutan, and lastly, quality control in road construction. Types of roads. Generally, roads are classified on the following basis: traffic volume, tonnage, location, and function. Types of road in Bhutan. There are 5 types of roads in Bhutan: National Highway, Songkhak Highway, Thomde Highway, Farm Road, and Access Road. Under National Highway, there are 2 types of National Highway: primary National Highway and secondary National Highway. Now I will be talking about specification of roads. This is the cross-sectional diagram of the primary national highway. So primary national highway are those roads of with high traffic volume. It should be shortest possible route between the designated important location, and it connects 3 or more Dzongkhag centers. This is the cross-sectional diagram of secondary national highway. Secondary national highway connects a Dzongkhag centers. It provides a connectivity between 2 Dzongkhag centers. This is the cross-sectional diagram of Dzongkhag Road. Dzongkhag Road connects a Dzongkhag center and integrated Dzongkhag centers, Gayok's administrative office. Connects a Dzongkhag center and a Dzongkhag center. Connects a Dungkhag center with another Dungkhag. Connects a Dzongkhag center with Gayok centers. Connects an integrated Gayok centers with equal or higher classification. Similarly, this is the cross-sectional diagram of farm road. Farm roads are those roads that links farmland areas to the existing road of equal and higher classification to enable transportation of goods for marketing. This table shows the specification of roads for different terrain classification. Design speed for different terrain classification are given in this table. Traffic volume for primary national highway is greater than 200 vehicles per day. For secondary national highway, it is between 100 to 200 vehicles per day. And for Dzongkhag Road, it is 30 to 100 vehicles per day. For farm road, it is less than 30 vehicles per day. Carriageway for primary national highway is 7.5 meter. For secondary national highway, it is 5.5 meter. And for Dzongkhag Road, it is 3.5 meter. Similarly, for farm road, it is 3.5 meter. And in the above table, there are some of the abbreviations given. L refers for level terrain, R for rolling terrain, M for mountainous terrain, and S for steep terrain. VPD refers to vehicles per day, BDM for dense bitumen macadam, PC for asphalt concrete, and PMC for premixed carpet.
Saja suci ni. Terasa severa jita.
Specification of highway materials. Some of the specification of highway materials are specification of soil, Portland cement, pavement marking material, admixture, aggregate, bituminous material. With specification of bituminous material. Bituminous material to be used in work shall be asphalt cement as per IRC 110/2005 for surface tracing using paving bitumen. The binder shall be paving bitumen of suitable penetration grade appropriate to region, traffic, rainfall, and other environmental conditions as directed by engineer in charge. The binder should be of viscosity at the time of application such that it is enough to permit uniform spraying. Specification of aggregate. Aggregate to be used in road construction must have appropriate shape. It must be hard and tough. It must have strength and texture. It must be durable and must have cementation, and it must be having adhesion with the bitumen. Aggregate to be used in road construction must have maximum of 40% of Los Angeles abrasion value, 30% of aggregate impact test value, and maximum of 30% of combined flakiness and elongation index. Soils are the most basic abandoned material in highway engineering. Not only does soil form foundation supporting surfaces for building bridges, roadways, and culvert, but it is the most important constituent in the form of aggregate. Specification of Portland cement. PCC is a mixture of Portland cement, water, sand, and gravel or crushed stone, which is aggregate. It is formed when the cement and water combines chemically and binds the mix into rock-like mass. The aggregate portion is generally composed of sand and gravel, which comprises of 80 and 70% of volume of the concrete. Aggregate, both fine and coarse, should be selected for their quantity, strength, resistant to environmental effect. Now moving to types of pavement. There are three types of pavement: flexible pavement, rigid pavement, semi-rigid pavement, or composite pavement. This table shows difference between flexible and rigid pavement. Flexible pavement is designed for approximate of 15 years of lifespan, whereas rigid pavement is designed for approximate of 30 years of lifespan. Flexural strength in flexible pavement is negligible. Flexural strength in rigid pavement is high. Initial cost is low, but maintenance cost is high for flexible pavement, whereas initial cost is high, but maintenance cost is low for rigid pavement. Temperature variation does not produce much stress for flexible pavement, but in rigid pavement, temperature variation produces high stress. Load transfer is grain to grain in flexible pavement, whereas in rigid pavement, load transfer is by slab action. Joints are not required for flexible pavement, and for rigid pavement, joints are required. Last, this is the diagram of flexible pavement and rigid pavement. So the common difference between flexible pavement and rigid pavement is in rigid pavement there is no sub-base course, whereas in flexible pavement there is sub-base course. And now moving to the types of pavement. Alligator crack. It is caused due to the weakness in surface, base or subgrade since it must be too thin. Asphalt depression. Asphalt depression are pavement surface areas with slightly lower elevations than the surrounding pavement. Asphalt upheaval. It is the localized upward movement in a pavement caused due to the soiling of the subgrade. Asphalt shoving. Formation of ripples across a pavement is known as asphalt shoving, caused by the excessive asphalt, too much of fine aggregate and weak granular base. Moving on to the next pavement failure, block crack. It is caused due to the fine aggregate mixed with the low penetration asphalt and absorptive aggregate. It is also caused due to poor choice of asphalt binder in the mix design. Edge crack. It is caused due to poor drainage condition and lack of support in the pavement edge. Joint reflection. It is another type of pavement failure. These are cracks in flexible pavement overlay of a rigid pavement, that is asphalt over concrete. They occur directly over the underlying rigid pavement joint. Revealing. It is the separation of aggregate particles in a pavement from the surface. Rotting. It is result from consolidation or lateral movement of any of the pavement layers or the subgrade under traffic. It is caused by the insufficient pavement thickness and lack of compaction of asphalt. Pothole. It is another type of pavement failure in which it is result of the moisture infiltration and untreated alligator cracking. Traverse crack. It is caused due to reflective cracks from the underlying layers, temperature, and poor construction. Slippage crack. It is caused by a lack of bonding between layers. And longitudinal crack. This crack is caused due to pavement fatigue and reflective cracking and poor joint construction. Now let's talk about basic skills for Bhutanese engineers for supervision of road construction in Bhutan. Engineer must have knowledge of building materials and construction. Engineer must be knowing road planning and designing skills. Engineer must have excellent communication skills and analytical thinking skills. Engineer must have knowledge of engineering science, math, and technology to be used according to the culture of society. What does a highway engineer do? Highway engineer is responsible for planning, designing, and supervising the projects, finding new solutions to transport problems, planning for highway maintenance and improvement of project, preparation of tender and contract documents, estimating construction. Highway engineer is responsible for managing construction teams and adhering to the health and safety guidelines, dealing with stakeholders including clients, transport specialists, and members of public, ensuring that projects are delivered on time and within budget. Quality control in road construction. Under this topic, I will be covering control of materials, test procedure, frequency and extent of testing, acceptance criteria, equipment type and its calibration, recording of test result, training on quality control. CAP din na daro VF there. Quality control tests. We must be doing control tests for individual materials such as soil, gravel, aggregate, binder. Mixes. We must be knowing the gradation of aggregates, mix proportion, and mix design properties. Quality control tests during construction process. Spreading, segregation, and temperature. Tests on compacted layer. We must be doing tests for mix proportion, density, and gradation. Acceptance criteria. The criteria for acceptance shall be subject to the condition that the mean density is not less than specified density. Now, equipment for quality test control. Nuclear density meter. Portable asphalt core cutter is another equipment used for quality control tests, and Packelman beam is also one of the equipment used for quality control tests. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.